Hello everyone, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, I'm going to share the Get Home bags that I made for my family. A lot of people spend a lot of time away from the house, and things like civil unrest or train derailments can force you to shelter in place or walk home if the roads are choked up. And a walk of even just a few miles could turn into an overnight thing if you encounter civil disobedience or other hazards that make you shelter or take the long way around. For that reason, a get home bag is like a 72-hour kit with survival skills. My 72-hour kits include the 5 C's of survival as well as some other basic needs. I put these ones together on a budget because I put a few together at the same time. So I got everything at Walmart and just covered the basic needs of a get home bag so that my family would have some stuff to help them hit the ground running in an emergency. Now, the 5 C's of survival are candlelight, combustion, container, cutting, and cordage. When we say candlelight, we're sort of cheating because we really mean light source, and nowadays that's usually LEDs. This is just a $1 headlamp. Most of my family has nicer flashlights in their bed tables or cars, and so they can upgrade this quite easily, but they will always have this easy flashlight right there in the outside of their bag, just like a source of combustion. There's other lighters in here, but this one is nice and readily available. After that, we've got this container. Now, something that you could cook or boil water in would be great, like a stainless steel cup or military mess kit, but this will at least carry some water and other things. A few of these kits have purification tablets or Sawyer mini filters, and this bottle will help you carry that extra water. Each kit includes a gallon of water to at least help you get going. Now, beyond that, we have cutting and cordage, and each kit includes razor blades to help you cut cordage, packaging, small game, or a variety of other things. Now, this isn't a very sturdy blade, but it's very intuitive and easy for anyone to use. And each kit contains a sharp cutting implement that's a lot stronger, and we'll get to that in a minute. As for cordage, I strongly suggest military Paracord. It's very strong and very useful in pretty much infinite ways, limited only by your imagination. I like to condense it by wrapping it into a donut, which makes it easily deployable, compact, and even hard enough to hit things with. Now, this is probably 60 to 90 feet of cordage, and that might not even be enough for a few situations. Most of these things I got at Walmart, but this I got at my military surplus store, which is the cheapest way that I could find the real thing for sure. It might be a little cheaper on Amazon if you find the real military deal, but it's worth it to me to support my local military surplus store and know that I'm buying the good stuff. He has it for incredibly cheap, something like 300 feet plus for $30 or something when I bought it. Really great price. And I wrap it into the donut myself, which is a decent leisure activity. I made a joke about that in a past video. If you are one of the new subscribers, thanks for joining, and go check some of those past videos out. I'm told that they're pretty okay. So a baggie is also a container, and it's useful for a variety of things, like keeping things safe from water. Now, chapstick is also pretty decent for that. If you rub it over a page, it should help keep things from smearing. Now, try that out before you use it, because that's just something I've heard. Now, I know that it's petroleum jelly, so it's going to make a decent fire starter if you rub it onto sticks or paper or something like that. And that's not to mention rubbing it onto your chapped lips or cracked skin or anything like that. Chapstick is a very great item to have around. Each kit contains some mess silverware, and these are great in emergencies, great to help you eat some of the food we have in here, and just on an everyday basis. I've used mine to eat yogurt when I purchased it at the store, and they didn't have a spoon to give me. So each kit contains some extra combustion and some toilet paper, because no one wants to worry about that in an emergency situation. And each one has at least one commercial fire starter to help get a fire really going, because wood is often pretty moist around here. Now, I mentioned food, and we do have some easy on-the-go food here, like protein and meal bars and some grain bars. Now, motion is extremely important in an emergency. Keeping moving will solve a lot of problems in a lot of situations. I've also included these tuna packets because they make a great source of protein and flavor, and they're just really good when you're on the go. Now, as for cover, each kit has a tarp, which when combined with the vacuum sealed sleeping bag that each kit contains, you can make a very nice bivvy shelter with a hard shell and a nice warm interior that will keep you nice and warm overnight, even in below freezing temperatures. Now, on top of the water that each kit is stored along with, each one also has a jug of Gatorade for added fluids, for the electrolytes in case you're sweating, and for the morale of having something besides water when you're on the move. Now, I told you that each kit has another cutting implement, and each kit contains a pretty decent hatchet. Now, in my area, if a cop ever looked in this bag, he wouldn't blink an eye, partly because of the area that I'm in is very rural, and because it's pretty clear that this is an emergency supply. I know some areas require that would be a concealed weapon, and that if you have a baseball bat, you need to have the gloves and the balls and other gear with it for it not to be considered a weapon, but that's just not the case here. And anybody looking at this would be pretty well aware that this is a survival kit, and that is for the use getting out of a car, into a car, out of a burning building, or splitting kindling, any of the variety of things that a rational person uses a hatchet for. I personally feel that an axe is one of the greatest survival items that a person can have, and I'm sure I'll talk about that in the future. Each kit also contains a towel and a rag, because those are just going to be useful in a variety of everyday situations, like spilling coffee in your car, or in survival situations. A great book says to always know where your towel is. Each kit also contains some alcohol gel chafing fuel, not strafing. Now, this is not necessarily great for cooking food or boiling water, but it will help you dry some wood and get a fire going, provide some warmth, or warm up some food. And if you have a rocket stove set up, I guess this would be pretty nice. But mostly, this is put in there for the morale purposes, maybe to help stay warm, or for the purposes of getting a fire going if it's a rainy day. Now, that's pretty much it for these kits. Like I said, each kit is going to have a list of things to add to it, as well as the personal needs that each person has that they want to have covered. But, as you can see, this is a very great, cheap, and basic setup to give each of my family members a bag of supplies that will help them get home in a variety of emergency situations. This is by no means as in-depth as my own get-home bag kit, but for the price that I put into it, it is a great option to give each family member some very necessary supplies. Now, just sharing this, I can think of a few things that I want to make sure I add without them having to do it themselves, but I really think that this is a great kit that I'm happy each of my family members has. I hope it's given you some good ideas, and I hope it's given you some ideas to share in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and please stay tuned with less talk about prepping for future videos. Stay safe out there.